So President Biden is about to do something that many say this is his last chance. And if this doesn't work, then this will be the end of President Biden. Now, I'm going to explain what's going on, but this is going to impact more than 40 million Americans here in 2024 and in the future. So make sure you stick around for this entire video, because what is about to happen was just announced this morning. So make sure you don't go anywhere, and I will explain what is going on in just a moment. But all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So what is President Biden about to do that is going to impact more than 40 million Americans? Well, it's this. President Biden is going to unveil his new plan to give student loan relief to many new borrowers. Now, if you do not have student loan debt, this is still going to impact you. And here's the reason why. According to multiple reports, what we are now seeing is the President Biden and Democrats, they are trying to find a way to give the American people something, to give them something that they can talk about, and that the Democratic Party can go and say, hey, this is what we did. We saved you hundreds or thousands of dollars by forgiving your student loan debt. But Republicans are planning on blocking this. This is not something that is likely to go through, but according to this report, we are going to hear President Biden talk about this in Wisconsin this coming week. Now, how many people are really going to be impacted by this? Well, about 43.2 million people currently have federal student loan debt. What we are hearing is that the average student loan debt is about $37,000, and it totals about $1.6 trillion in total debt. Now, this is something that President Biden promised. He was going to forgive student loan debt. But guess what? He attempted to do it. It got blocked. So what he's been doing lately is he's been changing the rules, changing the policy so that more people are eligible for student loan relief. Look at this. Okay, I want to show you this really quick. This right here, it's a promise tracker for President Biden, but this right here just kind of gives you an idea. It says, forgive student loan debt from public colleges and universities. President Biden's promise tracker. It says it's in the works. Okay, it hasn't been fulfilled. Said he didn't fail, but it's in the works. Right here, this is from President Biden himself. He wants to forgive all undergraduate tuition related to federal student debt from 2 to 4 year public colleges and universities, and private HBCUs and MSIs for debt holders earning up to $125,000 per year. Now, President Biden has done a bunch of different things. For instance, I believe like a month ago, and almost exactly a month ago, I believe in the beginning of March, President Biden canceled an additional $1.2 billion in student loan debt. Okay, so he has been doing something. But what experts are concerned with is the timing. That's what they're concerned with. One person says, why is President Biden deciding to do this just now? Well, they say there's other issues that this country is facing. For instance, border security, Ukraine aid, Israel funding, and more. But he wants to jump on student loan debt when we are a handful of months away from the next election? It seems a little bit odd that he's starting now. But I want to explain what is going on and what this student loan debt could look like. Because again, this is where things are going to really start to unfold, because who's going to get it? This could be what Republicans really fight. Just look at this. It says, the regulations, which are set to be issued as soon as next week, come after the Supreme Court last year overturned the administration's first debt cancellation plan, which have wiped away up to $20,000 in student debt for borrowers making less than $125,000 per year. It says right here, the president's advisors hope to use the rules to begin canceling waves of student debt in the run-up to the November election. But the exact timing of the effort will depend on how quickly the administration can finalize the regulations. It says right here The debt forgiveness could push could give Biden a political boost, especially among young people, amid polls that show him trailing former President Donald Trump, his GOP opponent, in several key states. But the proposal, once it is completed, is likely to face legal action from Republican attorney generals who will again try to convince the courts to block it. That is what we are expecting. And I told you this before, that what is going to happen, we are going to see both candidates, President Biden and former President Donald Trump, they're going to come out there and try to push for something. Okay? It happens every year. And if you don't remember, in the previous election back in 2019 or 2020, whenever it was, former President Donald Trump tried to get Congress to approve and pass like $400 emergency spending cards. And this was in 2020, but for senior citizens, that they can go and take this, and I think it's like there's like $250 to $400, and you can go and get medicine. You can go and get food. Well, this ultimately got pulled down. They didn't propose it. They didn't really push for it because of it was too close to the election. And some say it would just been a legal fight. Well, that's exactly what's happening here. But here's what the proposed legislation is looking like. It says the proposed regulation is expected to outline several categories that would qualify buyers for debt relief, including financial hardship. It says, for example, borrowers with high debt loads and low incomes could see their loan balances reduced or eliminated under the plan. Here's the thing, and this is something that I think is very interesting because you can manipulate your income. If, let's say you have an income of, let's say, $50,000 or $40,000 per year, right? If you were, and let's say the Biden administration comes out and says, well, anybody who makes less than $32,000 will get $20,000 in debt forgiveness. Well, simple math, if I make $40,000 and if I get $20,000, or if I make $32,000 and I get $20,000 forgiven, technically that means I made $52,000. So if I make anything less than that, it would be a win for me to go and get a different job that pays me less. You see why that's interesting? Yeah. And that's what many people are arguing right now, is it comes down to the verbiage. But let's keep reading this. It says, it could also outline a path to relief for borrowers who have carried their debt for decades, who now owe more than their initial loan amount because interest has piled up, or who are eligible for relief through other federal programs but haven't applied. Now, there's going to be a lot of discussions here as to whether or not this is something that should go forward. My take on this is that we are going to see some student loan cancellation. It may not happen as broad as what they're saying here. We're probably not going to see 43 million people get some type of student loan debt forgiveness, but the expectation is this is the starting point. This is where they're going to start. They're going to propose something, they're going to push it out there, and then when Republicans fight it, which they will, Democrats are going to come out and say, well, we tried to give you this, which would have given you additional $400 and some per month into your pocket. But Republicans said no. So that's who you need to be blaming, because you can't pay for your car payment, your house payment, your rent, your medicine, your food, right? Your kids' clothing. You got to blame them. So we'll see what happens moving forward. All I'll tell you right now is experts are now saying this is President Biden's last chance to try to do something to win back those voters. Because as of right now, many people are going Republican, but we will see. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.